guys, welcome to the 7-day challenge. Thank you for joining me. This is just a little bit of an introduction in case you just clicked on this and you've got no idea what you clicked on. It's a little bit of an introduction and then we'll go into some prep work for the challenge. So it's a 7-day challenge. That's pretty self-explanatory. What it is though is a build upon the challenge that we did in the monthly challenge group for this month. In journal workshops. Okay, so what we did in that group was 7 backgrounds in 7 days. Okay, so we're going to change that a little bit, build upon that. If you were in the challenge, keep your backgrounds ready. If you weren't in the challenge and you want to see that, you want to see other people's backgrounds, you want to see my 7 days video and all of that, you can do that. You will need to join journal workshops to see that, but when you've signed in you get access to that and some other groups, okay, that are free. So go in there and you can see what we did for the monthly challenge and what people are doing and still doing and all of that. So what this is, keep your backgrounds ready, as I say. You'll also need a pouch. It doesn't have to be a fancy pouch, but a pouch of some kind or a container of some kind, and a piece of paper and a pen for the prep work in a second. So what we're going to do in this challenge, now I was trying to deliberate how many because we did 7 backgrounds in the challenge, so I was deliberating how many journal pages we should do in this challenge. Now when I did my 7 backgrounds in 7 days, what I noticed was that I created very complete pages as it was, so why not turn that into a challenge for creating whole journal pages? So I thought 1 for 7 days isn't quite maybe enough, but 7, like with the 7 backgrounds, is maybe a little bit too much of a commitment for all of us to do, so I thought we'd settle on 3. So that's why we've got 3, if you're wondering why this number. I just think it's when you're creating something, it's a kind of a batch concept. 1 for 7 days doesn't seem kind of enough for me to create with. You can do 1 if you want to. You can do 7 if you want to. If you've done the backgrounds and you've got nothing else creative on your plate and you want to pull that further, you can do 7 if you want to. It's kind of the same as the monthly challenges that we have in the group. It's open to your interpretation. You can use this as a diving board to leap off of how you want to. So I'm going to do 3 because that seems a nice number to be able to create in the batch way. It almost seems not that much extra effort from creating 1, but not the huge effort that 7 journal pages in 7 days might be, because that's effectively 1 journal page every day. So that's what I've settled on. I hope you will enjoy this challenge with me for 7 days. I'm going to go ahead over to my desk now, so go grab paper, pen and your pouch or container and come join me. Okay, so I've got my bits and pieces, and the reason why I asked you guys who did the backgrounds to bring the backgrounds is so that we can list in here what media or items you used every day during that challenge. Okay, so on here I'm just gonna look off the top of my head. There was paper, paint, there was ephemera, which are these pieces here. So something like this was the ephemera and this behind it was the paper. There was markers, doodles. I did mention in that challenge that I might have done some journaling and I didn't do that, so that's why I'm kind of saying that markers were the doodles rather than writing or anything like that. What else is in here? The stick, what did I call them? Stick media on the last day. We used all those different things on the last day. What else? Stencils and stamps. I think that's everything we used, isn't it? Okay, so I've written those down and I want you guys that did the backgrounds as well to write these down just so that you can see the items that you use. Now during that challenge I wasn't restrictive in what you can use. I'm not going to be in this one either, but I want you to just look at what's there so that you can see what you go to time after time, what is maybe something that you don't go to very often. What is on this list that you have in your stash, or techniques or things in your toolbox that you have that you don't often use? And it's up to you whether you want to list out a bunch of things that you like to go to all the time, or whether you see some things that you maybe don't like doing, or you resist a little bit and don't want to use them. Now, I will say that sometimes we resist those things because they, like in life, are things that we should maybe get to know a little bit better. So I know this from, I don't know, crystal healing. When I'm avoiding a crystal, it might be because it's bringing up that issue that is the one that needs addressing. It's just a fact of life. We often resist those things that will probably be the best thing for us. So if you want a bit more of a challenge, maybe go for that area of your list. But it's up to you. I'm not going to know what are the things that you don't like working with, or what are the things you do like working with, and nobody else is going to know those things. This, like every challenge in the monthly challenge group, is entirely your own judgment of how far you want to take a challenge. But as I said last month, a challenge is something that stretches you a little bit. And that's why in the group we do have challenges, we don't just have prompts. What I'm going to do now is make prompts from these for us to use every day, and this is where the pouch comes in. So I will probably use paper, because that's one of my favourite things to use. Paint too. I'm going to include something that isn't on this list to make it more of a journal page, and that's a focal painting, drawing, collage item. Doesn't really matter, but I just want something focal. I'm going to pause here so I can just talk about the focal painting and why I'm choosing it. I want a focal painting on each of my pages because that is the difference for me between a background and an art journal page. So what I want you to do is also pick one prompt, or you can do two if you want, but at least one prompt that is something that distinguishes a background to an art journal page for you. So it can be something focal like me, or it can be journaling if you like writing in your journal pages, if you use collage images, magazine images, whatever it is that you regularly do that distinguishes a background to an art journal page for you, something that makes it feel more rounded, more complete as a page. I want you to pick at least one prompt here for yourself. I will also use markers, because markers aren't actually something that I go to tons in journal pages to do doodles with. So let's define that again, doodles. Something I use occasionally, but something that I want to bring more into my practice. I enjoyed doing it in this challenge, so I'm going to try that again and see maybe other things that I could use outside of these general shapes and things that I do use in doodles, because that is again, I want to stretch myself a little bit here. So stamps and stencils, if I do them, I want to do them together, because those were the things that I think added kind of the least interest on them, and the things that took me, as I said in the actual challenge, I only spent a little bit of time on each page per day, and I'll do the same in this challenge. I'll maybe limit myself, and I'll talk a little bit about that in a minute. But the stamps and the stencils, I felt like I'll do stamps or stencils, let's say, and then on each page I can decide which one I want to do. But that was a really quick one, this. I did it in like a minute on each page. What else do I want? Anything else out of that? Paper, ephemera, markers, stick media. Maybe that'll come under focal painting. I will go with ephemera. I'm only going to go with one other thing, because I've decided that I want 6 prompts for this one, not 7, because on the last day I think all of us should allow ourselves a day where we just do as we want. because some of us, particularly if you are new to challenges, don't like doing them because they probably take you out of your comfort zone or something like that, then having that last day to do whatever you like with kind of takes any pressure off, because you can do what you want to the page to finish it off, to bring it back together, to change anything you don't like about it, to create that finished piece that a lot of us feel like we have to do when we do a journal page, those finishing touches, which is the difference to these backgrounds. I didn't give that as an option in that challenge because backgrounds are backgrounds, and that's, you know, not supposed to be a finished item. I did give us the option to pick what media would mostly pull it together for us on the last day, but this one is a complete, what do you call it, a wild card, completely down to you what you do on the last day. And the reason why I'm giving that as well is because I want you to do this with the 6 things that you choose. I want you to cut them out, and I want you to fold them up and put them in your little pouch. And we are going to pick them every day, what we're going to do out of this bag, so that we mix up the order which we are used to working in a journal page. This is the thing that will challenge us more, is by picking out something that you maybe do as on the 6th day, on the 1st day. So pick your 6 items. It doesn't have to be physical items like media, it can be techniques or tools that you want to use. Write them out, scrunch them up so that you don't know which one's which, and we will pick one out every day, and we have to work in the order that we do pick them out. Okay, so if you don't have a pouch, a box, a cup, anything that you have that's a container, and we'll pick them out every day. And that's why I've given us the 7th day, so that if you pick out an order that's really uncomfortable for you to work in and you don't like how it's turning out, we've got the 7th day to do whatever we like in. Now in terms of time, as I said in this one, I only spent a couple of minutes on each one. I think on each day I'm going to kind of limit myself on the 3 pages to 10 minutes, so it's 30 minutes a day. I don't have to do that. Definitely with the stamps and stencils I might only take 10 minutes out for all 3. But then on the one where I'm painting something on there, a focal image or collaging a focal image on there, I might take 40 minutes or 50 minutes. It depends on the day, on the item itself, and that's kind of what I did with this. I went intuitively. I might time myself, I might not, don't know. But definitely do this with your 6 things, because I want it to be a little bit more of a challenge to us than what this one was, where we could pick what we wanted. This is to make us work outside of our comfort zone a little bit and outside of our order and see what happens. It doesn't matter what these things turn out like, remember, just let's go with the flow and see the progress, and we might end up by the end finding a completely new way of working that we actually really like but we didn't enjoy in the beginning. So let's go tomorrow. I'll see you there. Much love everybody. Bye.